Hello, everyone. Thank you again for joining. My name is Aaron Bookerstein. I'll be taking you through the Advanced Campaign Series 201, which is on device bid adjustments and smarter mobile ads. Just a quick housekeeping. For those of you that are joining off the back of the 101 session we had 2 weeks ago, thank you again for coming back on board. For those that are new to this interface, I'll draw your attention to the Q&A section where you can post a message of your choice so we can address any questions throughout this session. I will not be able to address every single question, obviously, with the sake of time, so please post what you can and we'll address those questions as we go throughout the session. I will also be introducing you to a colleague of mine who will join us throughout this session, who will be able to offer additional levels of expertise to this subject matter as we go through this particular session. So once again, thank you for joining today, and without further ado, we'll move on. So just to reiterate, my name is Aaron. I've been working on the Enhanced Campaigns new interface for some time now internally, and we're super excited to be able to take this out to the market and get a little bit more specific on how Enhanced Campaigns comes to life for our advertisers and how advertisers can work with this new interface to flesh out and build stronger mobile campaigns in particular with customer engagement as well. So to recap our agenda for today's session and to highlight as well, this session should go for between 45 minutes to 60 minutes. The 3 key areas that we'll be covering today will be how to win on mobile, device bid adjustments, and smarter mobile ads. We'll go through each of these in a little bit more detail. To recap the direction that we've been heading in previously, we're acknowledging with Enhanced Campaigns that we are working with new consumers who are living in a constantly connected world. So device interaction pans across multiple devices now, and access to content does as well. So it's a case of acknowledging how consumers interact with content, what devices they use to do so, and being able to reach those customers at any time or place, regardless of device, throughout any point of the day or week. So we're taking you through 5 strategies to winning on mobile with AdWords. And each of these 5 strategies that I plan to highlight will be 1, optimize bids for mobile, 2, design ad text for mobile, 3, build mobile app optimized landing pages, 4, create mobile extensions, and 5, measure mobile specific conversions. The reason I want to highlight these particularly for mobile is that these are brand new enhancements that are being built into the new campaign infrastructure. So without Enhanced Campaigns, you won't be able to actually get this level of granularity. Again, why sort of the early migration process, as we're moving through the migration process over the next 2 to 3 months, is critical for advertisers to get on board with this now so they can fully take advantage of these new optimization tools. So to recap, the old way for mobile-only campaigns, obviously from an advertiser perspective, if the intention is to target computers and mobile, or desktop and mobile, obviously we'd have to run 2 separate campaigns, a desktop-only campaign and a mobile-only campaign. So with that kind of structure in place, I just want to quickly review an example. The example here I want to highlight is with T-Mobile. So the goal was to acquire new subscribers through the web, with phone calls, and with store visits. The conventional approach prior to Enhanced Campaigns under legacy campaigns was Google mobile ads with location extensions. So mobile-specific ad copy to run, and the results for these guys in particular with this live example was a 13% click-through rate on a mobile site and about 20,000 calls to stores within 1 month. The other example I want to highlight to you is the benefits with call extensions on mobile search campaigns. So the example here is with Starwood Hotel, targeting nearby customers and making it easy for them to call hotels to book a reservation. Under the same structure, looking at an increased ROI was achieved of around 20% and increased bookings of 20%. So it's about acknowledging the strength that mobile already has and how to build on that strength with Enhanced Campaigns to spread things across potentially both desktop and mobile, but also how you can build in the new tool infrastructure that comes with enhanced campaigns through device, location, and time targeting with scheduled campaigns. So the current situation, while it's great, it's not scalable. And that's where our particular problem begins. So with enhanced campaigns, you no longer need to split campaigns to modify bids and ads for location or mobile targeted campaigns. The streamlined campaign management enables you to focus on contextual strategy and marketing objectives, not just implementation. And I guess for those that joined the 101 session, that was the key takeout as well. It's about how we can focus on contextual strategy beyond just how a campaign goes live. So what does that look like when it comes to reaching more customers with fewer campaigns? So the example here that I want to draw your attention to is legacy campaigns versus enhanced campaigns. And for those of you that have already experienced the new user interface in AdWords, you'll be familiar with the term legacy campaigns or classic campaigns as those that exist in the system right now prior to enhanced campaigns. So with enhanced campaigns, you no longer need to be able to split campaigns to modify bids and ads, as I mentioned, for location or mobile targeting campaigns. So if you have a look at this example, we've got legacy campaigns. So as it would say, 50 locations with varying bids. So for example, you have a standard campaign and you want to target 50 separate locations with that campaign, if it's a pan-regional campaign or even a local market campaign with specific location settings. Traditionally under legacy campaigns, you need to create 50 separate campaigns to make it happen. With enhanced campaigns, you only need to create one campaign and then just put bid adjustments against each of the key locations you want to focus on. But it still is housed within one master campaign. Going down a layer deeper, to add day parts, for example, with different store site links based on a store when it's open or closed, you need to apply new bids as well. So if you have an open store bid versus a closed time store bid, you need to apply that layer to the 50 campaigns that you've previously made adjustments to under legacy campaigns. Again, you're multiplying the volume of campaigns you need to focus on. With enhanced campaigns, it's simply a case of adding a schedule extension or day parting schedule extensions under the time of day adjustments you can make with enhanced campaigns. Going a layer deeper under legacy campaigns before, if you wanted to focus on one bid per keyword or desktop or a bid per keyword on mobile, you'd need to separate these campaigns out as well. The key thing here I want to highlight is you no longer need to do that. You can actually just break things down under one umbrella enhanced campaign. So if we go a layer deeper, I kind of want to highlight here for you some examples. So how enhanced campaigns can make it easier to win on mobile. Powerful marketing tools for the multi-world device, the ability to manage your bids across devices, location, and time. An example here would be, say, higher bids for customers on mobile who are within half a mile of your store. Or, for example, if it's a pan-Southeast Asia example, you could up bids for markets like Thailand if you wanted to focus on a store within Thailand versus any other part of the region. So smarter ads optimized for varying user context once again. The ability to show the right creative, the right site link, the right app or extension based on user context or device capabilities. So, for example, show store locators for customers on mobile during business hours because you know customers are more likely to be out and about and on the go, so you can actually adjust everything at that point in time of day so that you're actually increasing the opportunity to engage with customers while they're on the move versus when they're potentially at their desk. Okay, so that's our tips on how to recommend around winning on mobile when it comes to enhanced campaigns. The next portion I want to take you through gets a little bit more technical and it addresses device bid adjustments and gives you some examples of what things look like within the AdWords user interface. So powerful tools for the multi-device world. And I guess this is kind of critical in the sense that the way we want to shape the enhanced campaigns infrastructure is it's not only great bidding adjustments you can apply to existing campaigns, It's also a case to really replicate reporting structure and optimization strategies to make your campaign stronger as well. Okay, so a bid adjustment represents a percentage change in your bids. So as you can see with this example here, you can increase or decrease every bid in your enhanced campaigns to bid more or less competitively for mobile devices. In addition to mobile devices, you can set campaign-level bid adjustments for times, days, and locations. You can just adjust your bid for specific postal codes, cities, or other geographic areas, or use location extension targeting to set different bids for customers who are located around your business. One caveat to this is the sophistication of location targeting within Southeast Asia is still somewhat limited. By comparison to our more developed countries across the globe like the US, Australia, and Japan, we are still moving in the direction of fleshing out that sophistication when it comes to location targeting. For example, in Malaysia, we can target specific subparts of Malaysia, but by comparison with Singapore, we can target Singapore as a whole. We are looking to have those changes made a little bit more robust over the course of the next few quarters, but at the moment it's still a work in progress. So location targeting is still available, most definitely, but the granularity to which it's available is somewhat limited, and we'll address with you on a case-by-case basis as we walk through with you the migration of your existing legacy campaigns to enhanced campaigns. I just want to make that clear. So moving on to bid adjustments for greater bidding control. Okay, so what are bid adjustments? Bid adjustments are made at the campaign level and are a percentage increase or decrease applied on top of keywords and ad group level bids as an additional lever to improve performance. More than one bid adjustment can be applied at the same campaign and can be layered at the top on top of each other. So the bid adjustments we would focus on for the examples we've run through before would be based on location, time, and device. They're individual bid adjustments, and they actually act as a multiplier effect. So we are terming them internally at the moment as stack bids or bid multipliers, because each factor you apply to a bid adjustment multiplies against the default CPC you may have set to give you the revised CPC based on specific targeting you want to focus on. Okay, so what dimensions can you apply bid adjustments on? Device, as I mentioned, so bid differently to optimize return on investment for mobile devices. Location or geography, so bid higher on specific geos if you want to target Singapore versus Bangkok, for example, or KL versus PJ in Malaysia. And time, so you can bid higher when your business is open. For example, 6 a.m. to 11 a.m. for breakfast shops, or when performance is strongest. This plays very strongly for businesses that have no weekend trading, or businesses that have later evening trading, particularly restaurants. So restaurants who are driving a business trade can adjust their bid adjustments based on time in the evenings, and then obviously amend any keyword creative as well. Any artwork at the time of bidding to ensure that you have a very specific targeted message at that particular time of day. Okay, so adjust device, location, and time of day bids within the same campaign. So to give you an example of what this looks like, and apologies, this slide is still building. Okay, within the user interface, when it comes to particular adjustments you want to make, the new drop-down features that exist within the settings portion of the user interface are based on, again, location, ad schedule refers to time, and device refers to your targeting or weight of targeting by each individual device between desktop and mobile. And just to highlight here as well, from a targeting perspective, tablet is assigned to tablet is assigned to desktop. I did notice we had a question on that one come through. Hopefully some of you are already using the user interface as well, so you'll see some of these new amendments that have been built in. So setting your bid, device bid adjustment. So again, when it comes to device, when you click on device in the settings tab, it gives you these options. And within this portion of the user interface, you can start to make your own personal amendments based on the increase or decrease of weight you want to focus on when it comes to device. So at the moment, computers, mobile devices, and tablets are separated out. Moving forward, computers and tablets will be bundled together, and mobile will stand alone in terms of device bid adjustments that can be applied. This gives you an example of what things look like within the user interface. One thing I want to highlight here as well is when you click to make any bid adjustments, it gives you an example of what impact that bid adjustment would have. So the example here is if an existing bid or default bid sits at $10 and you're making a bid adjustment to increase on mobile, for example, at 50%, it tells you automatically before you save it what that bid adjustment will become as the new CPC, in this case, $15. So all the way through the new user interface, there will be prompts and portions that you can actually focus on to give you more information as you're going through this as well. Okay, so also to highlight here, to set bid adjustments between -100% and +300%. So your delta for a bid adjustment when it comes to mobile v desktop is a multiplier of 4. So down 1 and up 3, which means obviously there's an opportunity here for you to focus heavily on one device versus another. But one thing I will call out is inventory will still run across both devices. It's just the volume to which you want to adjust when you're going through the bid adjustments. Okay, so stacked bid adjustments will multiply. So as I was mentioning before, when you're focusing on individual bid adjustments based on the 3 factors of device, location, and time, when you make an adjustment to each of these 3 based on the default bid, the multiplied effect will occur to each of them to give you a new CPC at the end of the bid adjustments you've made. The examples here are, I guess, these two versions here. So if we refer to the left-hand side of this slide, on device, for example, if you make a bid adjustment on your mobile focus, for example, of an increase of 10%, it will take your baseline bid of, just say in this case, this example is $1, and add a 10% factor to that $1, making it $1.10. If you then add a location bid adjustment of 20%, it takes that again and multiplies it by the 20%, and then by time, multiplies it again by 5%, which gives you a new bid adjustment of $1.39. In kind, if laptops or PCs is your focus, desktop is your focus, or in this case at 0% means that you are neither desktop or mobile focused. You want to carry on with both targeting capabilities. But location you want to downplay by 10%, and day part you want to increase by 20% around Mondays in the afternoon. Your bid adjustment will increase by 0.8, making it a new bid based on the default CPC of $1.08. So hopefully that makes sense. The one thing here I want to highlight as well is if you make bid adjustments that downplay the percentage on each of these adjustable portions, so device, location, and time, your revised CPC for a much more targeted adjustment actually comes down. So a few questions that we've had back and forth over the past couple of months have been, will the enhanced campaigns infrastructure see CPCs increase? Potentially it will, and in some cases it won't. It sees it come down quite significantly depending on how finite you are with the targeting capabilities. Okay, so more on the user interface. So selecting your bid adjustment. So Google will provide a recommended mobile bid adjustment based on keyword bids from similar advertisers. So the entire database that exists within Enhanced Campaigns gives you the opportunity to see a range or a delta or a recommendation of what your bid adjustment should be based on how your competitive market's operating. This is designed to make things really easy for you when it comes to optimizations, and also how you can drill things down in a more specific way. So if you can see here, it's giving you the example of what adjustments would look like if you increase by 50%, increase by 25%, if you keep your bids the same as on desktop and tablet for mobile, if you decrease by 10, if you decrease by 25, 50, or use a custom bid, for example. So before making any adjustments, you have the opportunity to see the impact of those adjustments prior to making them, before saving anything. But of course, everything's amendable after you've made the changes as well. The other recommendation at this point through the user interface updates would be let your campaign develop a level of legacy before you actually start managing any optimizations. Let it perform for a week or two before you go in and actually make any further adjustments thereafter. Okay, so accounting for all mobile conversions. So we're seeing that mobile is spurring different types of conversions, both online and offline. The first of which is purchase on mobile, like a tablet site. So 1 of 3 smartphone users make purchases directly from their mobile devices. An example here from the US is that 50% of US smartphone owners use mobile commerce apps, and that's based on some Nielsen data from the middle of last year. Globally, around 90% of people use multiple screens sequentially to accomplish a task, usually within 1 day. To give you a vertical example, the finance category initiates most of its customer interaction, around 56% of its customer interaction from mobile first before it's carried across to other devices. So just giving you some user context here of why our focus needs to be pan-device as well. So 52% of smartphone users call local businesses as a result of mobile searches, something else to consider. Phones are the dominant way that we find businesses to make purchases offline. So 44% of users prefer to use mobile when they're trying to locate a business. Obviously, it makes sense when they're on the go. So it's these factors when it comes to building out any of your adjustments that should be best focused on when you're making any particular adjustment based on the factors that are available. Okay, so let's take you through a user case scenario here, which gives you a little bit more context around capability as well as, I guess, the functionality within the UI as well. So we'll take a hypothetical advertiser, for example. Let's call them advertiser A. They've invested $600,000 in mobile advertising over the last quarter. So initially, they produced a disappointed ROI because they were really only accounting for the 10,000 e-commerce orders from their mobile site. So with this view, mobile ROI was a dismal, negative 50%. So not very strong at all. If you go kind of a bit deeper on this, they forgot to account for the actions that could have been creating conversions such as store locator clicks, call clicks, app downloads, and cross-device activity. Each of these factors obviously can help attribute to an overall ROI as well. So to better understand the value that mobile brought, they analyzed these new mobile actions and assigned an independent value to each and the likelihood of an actual conversion. So each of the factors here are broken out as well. They factored these values into the mobile ROI calculation of 60K of calls at about $4 a call, 20,000 app downloads at around $5 a download, and 40,000 direction clicks at around $2 a click. So when considering the additional mobile actions that could drive additional conversions and revenues, they found they'd given another around $380,000 in value beyond their $300,000 investment in e-commerce orders from the mobile site, which worked out at quite a positive ROI at around plus 30%, significantly better than their initial analysis. And this level of granularity and visibility comes with enhanced campaigns. It's a case of acknowledging that it's not just interactions or purchases that occur that can help drive ROI, but where that initial connection is made as well. So valuing mobile and setting mobile bid adjustments. Again, apologies for the technicalities here, but I'll give you a few more examples. So examples of how advertisers set their mobile bids as a percentage of desktop over the course of the last several months. So I've got an example here from Australia, the US, and Canada to give you some perspective. On average, advertisers in the Australian retail sector set mobile bids at around 103% of desktop, right? Because they're finding that people are shopping out and about, they're on the go, so they want to get them where, I guess, strike while the iron's hot, as it were. On average, advertisers in the US retail sector set mobile bids at 91% of desktop. And this is based on market nuance. They're finding that more people are actually, on average, searching on desktop as well as mobile, so they want to capture both. people's place of work is close to points of purchase, so they can search when they're at their desk as well as on the go in the US. Now we see inversely here for Canada that on average advertisers in the Canadian travel sector set mobile bids at 88% of desktop. Because they're seeing the majority of traffic come from desktop versus mobile, they want to make sure that their bid adjustments reflect their consumers' interaction with content as well. So that level of flexibility is available again with enhanced campaigns, and something that really needs to be brought to life when you are proposing any optimizations to the campaign construct. Okay, 3 key bidding changes with enhanced campaigns that I want to highlight and just make 100% clear for everyone. So campaigns will run across all devices. There is no such thing as a mobile-only campaign anymore. I know we highlighted this in the 101 series, but I just wanted to really make this one clear. Of course, with that said, you can then manage the volume to which inventory runs on both by making your bid adjustment by device. Mobile bids will be adjusted at the campaign level and will be fully controlled by advertisers. So this is what I was mentioning when it comes to being in control of how much you want to bid on device, one versus the other when it comes to desktop and mobile. Tablet bidding strategies will be aligned with desktop. So in the UI, you may see at the moment, as we're making some final amendments, that tablet still stands alone when it comes to making device bid adjustments. Tablet and desktop will be merged together. And the reason for that is we've found that the majority of customer or consumer interaction with tablet device is akin to desktop device when it comes to search behavior and content browsing behavior. So we've bundled these two together and acknowledged that mobile is the truly on-the-go device and kind of called that out separately from a targeting perspective. Okay, so at the halfway point, I just want to quickly highlight our agenda. We are moving into the third section now, which is smarter mobile ads. And this goes into a bit more detail around how we can actually build out your mobile targeting functionality, as well as how we can really tweak up creative when it comes to targeting people on mobile device as well. So again, highlighting the factors we mentioned before around consumer context. So smarter ads for varying consumer context, the ability to show the right creative, site link, or extension based on a user's context and device capabilities. So the key features here are around customized messages on mobile. So location, for example, optimized bids for different locations. Let's say, I'll give you an example of London and near specific places within proximity to a vendor within London, for example. Scheduled extensions, so set extensions to appear only during certain times of the day or on mobile devices. Just recapping the point we were making earlier, if you've got a business that's open in the evenings versus weekends, for example, it's a case of being able to target them specifically during those times. Also driving app downloads, which is critical and something that we'll really be able to flesh out with enhanced campaigns. So drive digital downloads of apps on iOS and Android with the new app promotion ad template. So when you're actually going into the UI, it shows you how you can actually build out specific creative that targets accordingly as well. The one thing I will highlight as well is advanced site links, so the ability to manage individual site links in customized ways at the campaign and ad group level. So these are kind of the key features that help drill down that specific targeting capability as well. Okay, so to give you an example of what this looks like within the UI. So the ability to adjust headline, description, URL, and site links for mobile devices. This is what the user interface now looks like. So a lot of it's similar to what you've seen before. For those of you that are quite familiar with AdWords, and for those that aren't, the greatest new aspect to this portion of the UI is the device preference option here. So mobile, for example, once you click this mobile checkbox here, it will ensure that the creative that you've built above it, where it has new text ad, for example, the creative you've built above it will be targeted to mobile device only. This guarantees that any specific messaging you have that's tailored to a mobile consumer will be seen only by a mobile consumer. This gives you a new opportunity to feature any specific offers. And again, if you've made any day part adjustment with the ad scheduling function, it means you can target that creative to a specific time of day for those that are on the go and interacting with the content on their mobile device. The best way to get more experience with using or seeing this kind of amendment to the current user interface is to actually have a go at it yourself, and then work with all of your account managers at Google to make sure that you can actually, experience the functionality to its full potential, and then start, I guess, migrating campaigns as you move through it as well. Okay, device preference for extensions. So extensions are one of the biggest things we want to really fly the flag on when it comes to enhanced campaigns as well. So currently set site links and app extensions at the device level, rapidly rolling out to include all extension types. So the example here is when it comes to device preference, prefer this site link on mobile devices. Once you've checked the box to say this ad will appear for mobile devices only, this is the way to guarantee that the site link that you've actually built into the creative will be geared towards mobile devices only as well. Again, this just shows you what the UI looks like. Apologies for its technicality. But basically, as you see down on this slide within this actual image box, your scheduling options are also built into this as well, as you can focus on particular times of day and when you want that activity to start and finish, for example. Okay, the power of mobile search extensions. So when it comes to how that creative actually comes to life, the three new factors that are being built in are call extensions as they stand, so the call function here. Call extensions with call only, so removing the call icon and replacing it with just the number, which gives people an opportunity to dial through straight away. And location extension with call button, so it actually gives more specific details on a business's location if someone's actually looking to purchase in store rather than just locate a store. But then actually helps you identify search terms that can marry up to it as well. So it's kind of like a full ecosystem of options when it comes to extensions. The one thing I want to highlight here is call extensions as conversions is something we're working on at the moment. Over the next couple of quarters, that will be something that will be available to advertisers, as it is in Australia, the US, Germany at the moment, and Japan. So at the end of Q2 into Q3, that will become an option that we'll be able to roll out across Southeast Asia as well. But more to come on that later. Okay, app extensions, new template for app promos. So driving digital downloads of apps is made easier with enhanced campaigns. So the four things I want to call out here is new app digital content ad template available in enhanced campaigns, obtains compatibility information directly from digital stores. So Google's Play as well as App Store. The next one is advertisers no longer need to specify device, carrier, or OS in campaign settings. Rather, we only serve ads to relevant devices. For example, ad for iOS app will not show on an Android device, and so on. Everything automatically pulls in information, so app and icon, pricing, etc. And finally, click to download is also launching on tablet in line with enhanced campaigns, but that will be targeted through the desktop interface as well. Okay, so app extensions, and this is what we mean by the icon and price will be automatically displayed. So for an app extension ad creative, the logo will be built into the ad creative, which gives the customer an opportunity to download instantly. So app extensions as conversions will also be built into how we can manage campaigns. So if ROI is the #1 focus for your investment, we have the ability through this particular ad creative to manage how this converts customers post-click. So as an example of how it will look in the search terms, this is kind of how we build it out. And so we'd encourage clients who are in the process of mobilizing or building up their mobile landing pages to be building in this particular function when it comes to app extensions in those search terms as well. Okay, so when it comes to app extensions and locating the app promotion template, this is what it looks like. So again, referring to the user interface, on the Ads tab, which is next to the Setting tab, where you make your adjustments on device location and time, you can see here the new ad builder has app or digital content ad as a function within the new ad function. So you're encouraged to go to this space to start fleshing out what your creative would look like if you build in an app extension or an app promotion. And this is what the template looks like to make it easy for you to actually do so. Okay, so app extensions. So select app promotion ad, right? And this is how it gives you an example of what the ad would look like once you've built it out. So again, with user interface, it's been built to be as, well, potentially as user-friendly as possible, in the sense that it gives you a view of what your creative would look like once it's been changed and amended, and then gives you, again, an inverse example of what it might look like in TrueView as an in-ad search as well. So based on the template amendments that you make, it then shows you what the ad would look like when it comes to, again, the ads template. And then any adjustments you make within the template then are produced within this pane as well to give you a very clear visual example of what it would look like when it appears within the campaign. Okay, so app extensions, and this is the app promotion ad. So when it comes to the user interface, this is the ad preview. So this ad will show on mobile phones, and it gives you the call out to show where it will actually appear. From the example here is Google Chrome. And then over on the left-hand side of the pane here, you can see the app platform is selected as Android. So again, you do the same thing if it's an Android-targeted app or if it's iOS or if it's BlackBerry. You allocate your own package name, and then the headline and description is built into the creative as well. So, for example, the clickable portion of this is Google Chrome. Then the text here is the free browser that lets you get, second line, more of what you like on the web. And then you provide your own destination URL as well. So again, destination URLs can be adapted. If you want to focus on a particular portion within the mobile landing page, you can adapt your destination URL to reflect that particular portion of the landing page based on the creative that you want to serve as well. Okay, so just to recap, everything we've taken through at this point is, again, it's about how we can find more constructive ways of marketing for a constantly connected world. To highlight as well, the three factors that we went through in today's session were how to win on mobile, device bid adjustments, and smarter mobile ads. These are, I guess, the core components of enhanced campaigns for mobile. As we move through these webinar sessions after today, we'll be going through a lot more detail on the other portions of enhanced campaigns, particularly desktop as well, which is critical to how the overall infrastructure of enhanced campaigns comes together. So I will address some of the questions, the Q&A that we've had as well. We've had a few questions come in, so we'll go through those as we can. And I'm conscious of time as well, so I want to make sure we address as many as we do. What I will also ask you guys to do is, if you can download this survey quickly, when you have a moment, just feedback on session as well. That would be great, and then we can make sure that we package these webinar sessions up for everyone in the most constructive way to ensure that we're getting the best kind of information out to you as we go through them. So I shall open the floor up for some questions. A few of them have come through. So just bear with me 1 second, everyone, and I'll start looking at some of these questions. Okay, so first question I got here is it possible to adjust budget for devices and locations in enhanced campaigns? When it comes to budget adjustments, any adjustment you make to a bid will affect, obviously, the default CPC that's in place prior to making any adjustments. You can still set things like conversion optimizer as another layer on top of any bid adjustments you make, and you can also set out max CPCs so that you guarantee that you don't go over a spend capacity within a week, a month, or however long your campaign is to run. So in that regard, from a budgeting perspective, that's how you would address it. Okay, the next question I've got here is, what are the countries that location bid adjustments can be used? Okay, this is a great question. It's a somewhat tricky question. In Singapore, and I will cover Southeast Asia. In Singapore, at the moment, we can target Singapore. My understanding, and this is changing every day, if you want to target particular sub-markets within larger markets like Malaysia, you can target PJ versus KL, for example. For Indonesia, we're still working on the segmentation of location. It's a slightly different market when it comes to infrastructure as well. For India, going outside of Southeast Asia, our capabilities are a little bit more robust. But I will be clear in that it's very difficult in Southeast Asia for us to get as specific as a 3 to 4 kilometer radius of a particular location. That is changing. As we get more sophisticated with Southeast Asia, and as the market conditions allow for us to do this level of targeting from a geo perspective, it will become much stronger for us as we go through this as well. Okay, so the next one I've got here is bid adjustments for mobile only. Why can't we just adjust bids for tablets? We actually can adjust bids for tablets, but tablets are being bundled into desktop. So when you make an adjustment for desktop, it affects tablets as well. And that addresses the point I was making earlier, which was around consumers' interaction with device when it comes to tablets. It's very much aligned to desktop. So it's a case of marrying those two devices up and then calling mobile out separately. Okay, hopefully that addresses a couple of other questions I have here, which is around can you put separate bids in for tablet, and can you separate ad copy for tablet? Okay, question here around what happens to the old campaigns. Can you suggest the advertisers deleting, pausing the old campaigns, which are separated by mobile and desktop? Now we have only one campaign active, enhanced campaign. Okay, so each of the advertisers that we currently work with obviously have their account manager that they can work with specifically that will help the migration process for any of the existing legacy campaigns. So you can pause any of your existing campaigns and rebuild some of them as enhanced campaigns, and nothing will happen to things like quality score as long as you don't make any adjustments to the information of that campaign as it stands. Pausing is completely allowed until the end of June, where we'll be switching off legacy campaigns for good. So everybody's encouraged to make a migration between now and the end of June to ensure that any existing campaign isn't affected. If you have a campaign that is running at the moment that finishes before the end of June, I would suggest not migrating it because there will be no benefit to migrating a campaign that's not going to be affected. For advertisers that are ready to migrate, who are running separate mobile and desktop device campaigns, our suggestion would be look at the parameters that you have for your desktop targeting, and in kind, if it's a desktop focus you have, adjust a portion of your campaign to focus, or rather adjust a portion of your creative to focus on desktop and increase your bid adjustment for desktop only or towards desktop, and then adjust some creative as well that targets mobile under the same campaign construct so that you have specific creative targeted to one device and specific creative targeted to the other device, but still living with under the same campaign. And that's kind of our number one tip for how we migrate those that are separated out at the moment. Okay, another question I have here is it possible to create mobile-only targeting campaign? The answer is no. There is still inventory that will run on desktop. And the reason that is because we don't want advertisers to miss out on an opportunity if a customer is searching on desktop, even if it is mobile targeted. It's, again, acknowledging that customers are across all devices, and we want to get them across all screens as well. But what you can do is target the creative. So it focuses on mobile only, which means that if you have specific app download creative or click-to-call creative, you can actually target that to mobile specifically as well, and then adjust your creative that targets desktop to ensure that the right message is reading the right consumer on the right device. Okay. Okay, a question here is, would you be able to activate campaign optimizer feature on enhanced campaigns? The answer is yes. All the existing adjustment or the existing tools that were available prior to Enhanced Campaigns launching are still available as a new layer to Enhanced Campaigns. The one thing to be cautious of is that some override any adjustments you make to Enhanced Campaigns as the final rule when it comes to any adjustments you've made previously. Okay. Another question I have is why an advertiser who wants to promote app download would like to target desktop? Because as per Enhanced Campaigns, one cannot exclude desktop, and promoting app on desktop is not a profitable option, right? So in this case, it's where you dial up and down your bid adjustments based on device. So if you're running an app download campaign and acknowledging that it runs across all devices, you adjust or make the bid adjustment. And remember, it's 300% up or 100% down on desktop versus mobile. So for example, you would increase your bid adjustment significantly for mobile for an app-targeted campaign, and you would decrease quite significantly for desktop for the exact same campaign. You have the option to run the same creative across both devices, but you'd be encouraged to not do that because you have the option to. So you can run separate campaigns where necessary, or run separate creative per campaign where necessary. Okay, next question is, what could be the ad formats for mobile ads? Are there any predefined banner sizes? So with the templates that are available through Enhanced Campaigns now, it makes it a lot easier for you to actually build out your ad creative. You'll find that when you go into the UI, a new line item has been added for mobile ad creative. You can actually build out a much larger ad, which gives you a chance to share a little bit more information about the business when you're actually building out the ad creative as well. So the rule of thumb would be to stick to the template and gives you an opportunity to really, hone in on what message you want to convey. The other thing I want to highlight is when it comes to call extensions within the ads, any number can be put in there now to call directly to the business as well. It doesn't need to be a predefined number. So a little bit more relevant when it comes to building that ad as well. So something to also remember when you're actually making those adjustments. Okay, mostly statements now, less questions. And a couple of different varieties of the same question, which I think I've addressed now. Okay, the final question here is, how do I set budget based on device for Enhanced Campaigns? Okay, the first thing would be to look at your existing budgets for campaigns that are running under legacy settings. If you have a particular budget allocated for mobile and a particular budget allocated for desktop, it'd be a case, and with the same targeting objectives, obviously, and essentially the same campaigns, it'll be a case of combining those budgets and then allocating them accordingly. The purpose is to look at how your campaigns are currently performing and where you're seeing a volume of traction. If you see a higher volume of traction, a higher volume of clicks and engagements on mobile versus desktop for a campaign that's currently split, you would automatically think by combining those budgets, you need to increase your bid adjustments on mobile. In kind, if it's the flip side, you would make your bid adjustments to desktop, but stick with the same budgets you have across both device targeting campaigns you have under legacy settings, and then combine them when you're moving them or migrating them into Enhanced Campaigns. Okay, final question is around, when there are multiple levels of bid adjustments, like time, location, and device, which takes priority? They equally take priority because they're actually multiplied against each other. They're not added against each other. So for example, if you've made a bid adjustment of 10% on location, it takes that 10% and multiplies your default bid of, let's say, $1 by 10%, making it 1.1. If you then decrease a bid by 20% on location, you then can multiply that 1.1 by 0.8 to give you the new bid adjustment. So each individual component, it doesn't actually matter how you multiply them against each other. Because they're stacked or multiplied, it will calculate the same way no matter which one you prioritize first. So the one thing I want to highlight as well with that question is that you don't actually have to apply any bid adjustments when you begin the migration process. For campaigns that exist at the moment, you can actually take the legacy campaign, migrate it, and leave everything as a default bid to begin with to see how the campaign performs and where you're seeing the greatest volume of traction. For those that joined the 101 session 2 weeks ago, one thing I highlighted was for those campaigns that exist, you can actually apply any of these settings as a reporting tool to the campaign to actually see where your optimization strategy lies, as opposed to having to make an optimization or a bid adjustment before actually seeing how a campaign performs. Okay, so with that, I might just wrap up. For a couple of questions that have been left unanswered to kind of fall in line with the ones I've just mentioned, I'll fire a note back to everyone just so that we're on the same table. I will summarize by saying there is the resources page that I would encourage everyone to check out, which gives you more information around what's actually available. I would encourage you to review those resource pages. The links to the resource pages are on your screen at the moment. Have a read through them, and then if you have any further questions, we can follow up directly as well. As of now, that's it. I look forward to being in contact with everybody for the next round of sessions, which I think is our 202 session. And thanks everyone for your time.